Hey y'all, welcome back to Key is King. Today we'll be reviewing the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 17. This is our finale. I could not thank Jesus harder. Could not thank him harder. Thank you, Jesus. Because this season is giving me fucking nothing but a headache. Not physically, just like a spiritual headache. I'm over these women. We are opening this last episode of this season with Karen all of a sudden adopting dogs. Karen, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna say it. I hope you go to jail. Maybe not the full 2 years. Maybe not the full 2 years. I hope you go to jail. Because you have gotten on my nerves. You took yourself down. Let's be clear. This was under the guise of a Mia takedown season. This is a Karen takedown season, and she did it to herself. I want you to go to jail for a little bit, Karen. I do. I need to look up if you were officially charged with your sentence or sentenced. That's the word we use in America. Because you wanting to adopt dogs all of a sudden, as Stacey's doing her stray and strut, go choke on a bone. Do you guys hear these plum fools outside playing fucking horn tag? So as Karen is talking about her wanting to adopt dogs all of a sudden, Wendy calls her and invites her to the White House, which she is screaming about it, and I guess you're going to the White House before you go to the big house, so live it up, girl. So Stacey is going out to lunch in the next scene with her best gay, her best Judy, as we say, and they've known each other for years when Stacey was a model back in Chicago, I think they said. To make a long story short, Stacey and her gay are talking about TJ, her other gay, and the Chicago gay is not impressed with TJ. He called him a cornball at one point. TJ FaceTimed Stacey while they're talking, and he's like, oh, absolutely not. He thought he was AI, apparently. He was like, what is happening? So he was not impressed, and he was very vocal about not being impressed. And I can't be mad at you, Chicago gay. I cannot be mad. In the next scene, Ashley is hosting a fake family party to get some camera time. She invites her family over for her aunt's birthday, her Uncle Lump's wife. Yes, I believe that is how he is named. And so Ashley takes this opportunity to talk about her divorce and how it's almost finalized and it's on the way, and she's cheersing and once again taking her aunt shine on her birthday, at her birthday party, to get some camera time, if I was not clear. So Ashley is going through all of that motion. Her family's giving her props. Her children are once again on the fucking counter with shoes on this time. Before it was just their feet, who have been God knows where. Now it's shoes. The half-white trailer park in Ashley screams so loudly. Screams so loudly. But she's going through all of this, and apparently she's so happy that she thinks she's going to start singing Healing, Thriving, Surviving, Conniving, whatever the name of her song is. And her family's like rolling their eyes and she got booed off her own stage in her own home, and I'm happy they did that. Because you can't sing. Nobody needs to be lying to you that you can sing. You need to stop. Talk about a cease and desist. I wish she could divorce her singing career. That's what she needs to be divorcing. Right after Michael, divorce your vocal cords, please. We move on to Giselle and her daughters trying to use a shovel. This is the only part about being like a producer sometimes that would kill me. I would hate to see a dumb person be dumb. I'd be like, bitch, if you don't move over and let me show you how to do it. They're using one of those like tall, I'll probably put a picture, one of those tall skinny like shovels for gardening that you have to like step on and like get into the ground. Even like looking at the shovel, I would think that these motherfuckers are taking the tip of the shovel and like doing little circles. What type of hole is that going to build? Matter of fact, you are never going to dig a hole because Giselle ends the scene with saying, I'm going to call my people to do this. You weren't never going to dig that hole. That shovel looked actually Walmart fresh. now that I think about it. But the tree is for Giselle's dad, who they call Pops. Apparently that he loved Christmas. He was always there for Christmas. And they're going to plant a Christmas tree in Giselle's yard. That's cute. Giselle was emotional, which she never gets. Her dad is like the one thing outside of her daughters, I think, that actually makes her emotional. So she showed humanness for like a split second, but then it was back to being a heartless BI. She also quoted her first lady times with a verbal vice. Not me saying verse like Australian vice. A Bible verse. So that was that. I guess the Lord said, you do not shade anything to do with religion on my earth, so I heard you. After the emotional Christmas tree, we move on to Wendy and her family going to the White House. And they're getting a tour. The president is not there during this visit, but the press secretary is very cute. Very cute. I was like very surprised. Know nothing about her. Learned some things about her this episode. But they're walking around. They're getting a tour. They had a little note when they walked into one of the rooms that said, "Welcome Wendy and crew." And that was cute. Karen arrives. Okay. And Wendy's obviously excited to see her. But you know who's even more excited to see her? The press secretary. The press secretary came in screaming, seeing Karen, talking about some of the grand dame. But apparently it's not Karen's first time at the White House. Karen did say it was the first time she was in those types of hallways at the White House, meaning Wendy got her like inside. But the press secretary was more happy to see Karen, if you ask me. No shade. But I find out during this little interview that she's gay. Alright. How you do it? She doing good apparently. But she is the first black woman to ever hold that position, and she is gay. So all hail to you, Miss Lady. I would say your name, but it's kind of French sounding and I would mess it up. But you know who you are. The world probably knows who you are. And if you don't, I'm sure you'll look her up now. There you go. Well, she's probably gone now. But, yeah. She was very cute. I liked her energy. And it was good for Wendy. Good for her getting that far in that accomplishment. Eddie is... Talk about favorite house husbands. He is like potential junior version of Greg Leaks. Like, Eddie is a very good house husband. Housewives husband, however you want to term him. We love Eddie. Happy Eddie? Snaps from me. We wrapped this crunchy season and episode up with Stacey's crunchy event. Dare I say crunchy, shitty event. The theme was really crusty. The wig was given crusty. Everything was... But from the opening of this event, it seems like a very homoerotic event. We have shirtless men everywhere serving at this event with like animal ears on. Why? Mind you, what makes it extra like questionable for me is that it's Stacey and TJ like hosting this event and emceeing this event jointly. Why? Now, TJ's coming in under the guise that he knew nothing about the event, was given no details, which I think is a disguise for the fact that it looks like a gay anal sex party. That is my theory. 'Cause sir, please. You think that your whiny ass went into there blind? I don't believe that for 3 seconds. Not for 3. Nope. And I say all that to say that TJ is a fucking weirdo. Like, mind you, I think he's an actor, but he's really acting like a certified weirdo. And if he is not acting, he is crazy. Crazy. Stacey, mind you, has this crunchy, like, little bob on, which from a distance looks cute. I was like, oh, that's cute. Was not that cute. And you know how I know it's not that cute? Because everybody that was there in person hated it and reacted to it awfully. Maybe a couple people gave her a compliment, but you know people be lying. You know they do. TJ was like, your hair, wow. And she's like, what do you think? He's like, if you love it, I love it. Alright. That means no. The way they zoomed in on her hair took me out. Because they're not doing that because it looked good. Trust me. They've never seen somebody's hair look so good that they're like, oh, we're going to zoom in. If you get a zoom in on reality TV, it's usually for a bad reason. But TJ is definitely like tweaking. He meets Chicago Gay in person, and he apparently, what I got from this moment is that Stacey went back and told TJ everything that Chicago Gay said about not really liking him, and that he was a cornball and weird. So TJ was like, I'm for anybody. He was like, we gotta figure something out, like da-da-da-da, like I'm for anybody who's not against Stacey, so we gotta be team Stacey, and like we gotta be good. It was giving on the verge of like closeted, like boy being exposed. I don't know what it was. It was like cosplaying as straight man. Strange. If I was Chicago Gay, I would have right there just stopped the presses. You want to play stupid games? You wouldn't want a stupid prize. But Chicago Gay, I guess, just rolled it off, or at least that's how they edited it. So, alright. And as everyone's getting there, obviously this is Vivian's, partly her event too, because it's her clothing. She is shading the fuck out of Karen, though. It's very clear that this situation has made her cut ties. But Stacey also did say that she's known her longer, her being Vivian, so maybe that's the case. But either way, Vivian was shading Karen down. She was trying to get her little mic moment. She was getting close to the mic saying all types of shit. I was like, all right now, Viv. But that leads to Stacey versus Karen, and Karen was trying, but Stacey was getting her newscaster licks in. Like, truly was getting her. Like I said, this is a Karen takedown season, and she did it herself. Karen is trying to yell at Stacey for how she acted and what she said and what she did. And Stacey's like, I have been defending you since like the beginning of time, since I've known you. And I have to remind her that like I haven't really known you that long. Like, Karen is yelling, finger pointing, finger wagging. She's trying to bring up Stacey's charges or former charges, and Stacey's like, I've never been to court. What are you talking about? I've never been in a courtroom. Shade. And Karen claims that Stacey ran through the same stop sign at least 3 times. And you're about to go to jail, ma'am. Why are you talking about a stop sign? Please make it make sense. Like, make it make sense, Karen. Please make it make sense. So, Karen's talking about stop signs while she's facing jail time. Just wild stuff. At some point, Karen told her to zip it, her being Stacey, told her to literally zip it. Stacey's like, so classy, you have so much class, like, oh my god. They're claiming that they're getting to know, well, Karen's getting to know her, and at least I think Karen is the one that was just like, I'm just getting to know you, like, we're not friends, essentially, pulling one of those cards. And so, they're arguing back and forth. Stacey's trying to give it to her, Karen's trying to give it to her. Stacey's kind of winning to me. Especially at the point where Karen takes a sip or says she's just going to sip her drink. And Stacey goes, what are you sipping? Ms. DUI 2025, 2024, what are you sipping? And Karen's like, hard liquor. That's not a good look for you, babe. It's crazy to even be acting this way knowing that you said to somebody in public, potentially with a camera on you, that you were Thomas Jefferson's concubine. Girl. I mean, mind you, Karen was clearly blackout drunk and probably doesn't remember much of that, but my god. My god. And that's probably why she even took this course of action. She probably legitimately did not remember so much of that. Imagine. But what really ends this argument, temporarily at least, is Giselle coming. And Giselle is wearing this big poofy dress, which I know I've seen this dress somewhere before, and I'm almost landing on the fact that it was on RuPaul's Drag Race. I may be wrong, but to make a long story short, Giselle's a messy bitch, and she had me dying in this moment because the dress she's wearing, apparently Wendy was very interested in it when they were dress shopping for the fashion show. Stacey refused to let Wendy buy it. She said she cannot buy that dress because I don't know if Stacey had plans for it, if she was going to buy it. So Giselle went back and bought the dress just to piss Stacey off. When I tell you that is an expert level of rotted, that shit was so funny to me. Like, I was in tears because Giselle, Like I said, she has a few redeemable qualities, and one of them is that she is hilariously rotted sometimes. Hilarious. That is so funny to me. Like, if I had just, like, spending money like that, every now and then I would do some shit like that, because that shit is hilarious. If I had the opportunity. Not that I'd be around just, like, trying to ruin people's dreams with my money, but that shit is, like, frenemy expertise. Like, that is so funny. So Kay is also a person that is now in the mix of everybody, and she's talking about her and Greg, and apparently they're taking a step back. Fucking shocker. I could have told you were taking a step back. Because they're just not matching up. They're not lining up with what they want, what they need, and that's not going to work. So you're not surprising anybody with that news, but thanks for sharing, Kay. But after they talk about Kay and Greg taking a step back, they move on to Wendy, who has just arrived to the party. And the second almost that Wendy arrives, Giselle wants to bring up the fact that, like, hey, do you know about what was said about you, Wendy? And she reveals via Stacy, who confirms that Karen was talking mad shit about Wendy when Stacy first joined the situation. Karen took her out to lunch. Karen took her to that fucking restaurant that had coached staff about her behavior. Girl, goodbye. Goodbye. So Karen is literally up to her old tricks and predictable and cannot even put together a lie quick enough. Because Wendy believes it. Wendy believes it right away that Karen was talking this shit about her. Wendy says, I know that she said it. And so Karen was trying to defend it. She was trying to spin it. And Wendy was just like, be careful. Me and my dress are taking up so much space because we're self-absorbed, is what Wendy kept saying. She just kept going. And Karen just, at one point, seemed like she stopped trying to defend herself. She was just like, okay. Okay. I feel like it was registering in that moment to Karen that, like, I've lost. And she did. She really did. But it was just, I don't know. It was part cinema to me. It was part just like, oh my god, this is really happening in real time. Stacy was fucking just shredding Karen. And Karen was just sitting there. She couldn't really defend herself. I dare say it was one of the first times I saw it. This also makes me realize that I'm pretty sure in one of the previews of the season, we had a sit down between Karen and Wendy. They had gone out to some type of lunch to talk about their relationship and the effect that that all had on Wendy, but that did not happen in this finale. The way this finale ended, actually, was after the whole Karen confrontation with Wendy and all that stuff, and Wendy finding out that she was talking shit. After bringing her to the White House, I know she was pissed. I know she was pissed. But they move on to the stiffest, shittiest fashion show of all time. And I don't mean that in, I actually mean that in a very literal way. Because the models were stiff as hell, like holding the dogs. I guess they didn't trust them to walk. Okay. But whoever, all the ladies were saying that Karen sabotaged it. They were supposed to have a confetti blast at the end of the show. They had legitimate, like, Vegas club, like, smoke cannons. Like, pressurized, like, fog almost, that came out and, like, fucking blasted the floor that all of them are on, the dogs. Shit everywhere. They probably shit on some of those dresses. They definitely shit all over the floor. That was so funny. They were freaking the fuck out. But they proceeded after, this is how the finale is ending, mind you, with just a shit show, literally. A shit fashion show. And then they start giving them the most crunchy pictures and outro messages. Crunchy. Crunchier than Stacy's wig. Like, I was like, what is happening? It seems like the budget went into blurring the poop, maybe. Like, I don't know. The stills at the end were just nuts to me. So they do everybody's shit. Nobody really had anything noteworthy in their fucking choppy, crunchy ending credit. They flash forward 5 months to Karen going to jail and being charged or facing up to 2 years in jail. And that is how we end this season. I'm very happy it's over. I'm very happy for the reunion because it looks like it's way more exciting than the entire season was. And Stacey and TJ are getting exposed about something, so take a deep breath now that that's over and just say thank you to Potomac for nothing. Thank you for nothing. I still reviewed it, but thank you for nothing. With that being said, y'all, thank you for joining me. Thank you for sitting through another video. I appreciate the support and love always. Do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you soon for something shortly.